Brett, thanks for the pictures here. Gives me a pretty good idea. I think, yeah, I think you can do some really nice stuff here. What I would start with is around this pool area, especially because you have these nice big boulders. I would look at primarily around here, as this is where I'd probably use some path and garden lighting. So I'm going to pretty much talk about two main lights. Would be typical uplight, spotlight, floodlight. It's called different things, and then like a path and garden light that's more designed to kind of shine the light down, and I'll show you why. And then also another light that you may want to consider is an in-ground light, and I will explain that also. So if I'm looking at your pictures, what I would probably do here is I would probably try and throw like an accent light on this tree or this shrub, and if you have another one or two that maybe isn't in the picture that you wanted to do that, you could do that. And then I would probably look at spreading 3 or 4 path lights around this area. So you might want to throw a path light here, a path light here, and then maybe kind of one around this corner, and possibly even one a little bit further, so 3 or 4 of those. The reason I like path lights here is because some of that light's going to shine down on these rocks, and you're going to get a really nice effect out of that. It's a good way to maximize the light that you get out of those path lights when you have big nice boulders like this. So that's probably what I would do up here. And then if we keep going around, same thing as we go around here. I think this is the ideal setting for another 3 or 4 path lights, really just to help kind of illuminate the walkway around the pool and then some of those nice boulders. So I mean, you're probably looking at 6 to 8 path lights around the whole pool area. And then if we get out into the yard, this is where I love some of the big trees that you have here. This giant, I think you said it's giant oak tree. Couple ways you could do this. My preferred way is it looks like you have a little bit of a mulch around there that you could use an uplight. So what I would do, 2 ways you could do this. One, you could either I would throw an uplight kind of at the base that just kind of shines up the trunk, and what I would probably do is, if this is an option you want to do, I might even look at increasing the intensity from all of our uplights come with a standard 4.5 watt 270 lumen, and lumens is just the brightness of it, and what I would probably do is increase that intensity to a 5.5 watt bulb, or what they would call a equivalent of a 35 watt halogen bulb, just to shoot that light a little bit further up. And then preferred method would be to use these in-ground lights on the side. So you'd have one going up the trunk, but then a little bit further out so you can get a little bit more into the canopy, I would use those in-ground lights. And the reason I would use the in-ground lights as opposed to the uplights is the uplights, they stick out of the ground. So unless you have a mulch bed or something that you don't have to really maintain or mow around, I would use those, because cost-wise, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. But if you want to get it back into the canopy a little bit more, you're going to have to move that light back a little bit further and probably place it in the grass. And that's where those in-ground lights are good, because now you can just put it flush with the grass. It sits in there, and you can just go ahead and mow right over it. You don't have to worry about, if you got lawn care guys running over it with a mower, or teenagers or anything like that. It's there. And I would probably try and have one on both sides of that big tree. And then for some of these ones, I would probably just use a standard uplight at the base and just try and get it up the trunk. You could use the same concept with the in-ground lights, just depends on your budget and stuff. I like the idea of these ones because they're a little bit smaller, of just using the standard uplight. And one thing to keep in mind is just when you're putting these lights in, just leave a little extra wire, so that if down the road you do decide, hey, I like the look of this tree and I want to do that to all the others, well, then you can just add those extra in-ground lights on there, or any extra lights for that matter. So that's what I would do to there. It looks like you have some more trees over here that you could probably do that with as well. And then if you have like some little shrubs and like that, you could definitely throw a small accent light on those. Same thing, the same standard uplight, a 20 watt equivalent one would do a great job of that. And definitely what I would do is I would try and get some on these shrubs and lighting onto this lattice. That's one of my favorite looks, is when you can get an accent light on the lattice work like that. It always looks amazing. So I would definitely do that. I might even skip this one if I was to do that. And then that's where you have maybe a path light here. You'd probably have an uplight or 2 or 3 on this one. So you might not need too much here, but then you look at maybe doing a path light here, a path light over here, a path light over here, and this is where I kind of talked about the 6 to 8 path lights that just surround the pool and give you a little bit of light cover on kind of on the walkway there, so at night you can see where you're going and nobody's slipping and cracking your head, plus it's going to look really good. So I think you can easily do the project for the budget that you want. What I would suggest is one of two things: is if you go onto our website and just go to start building, you can start adding things to your cart and get a budget that way. If you're looking for kind of wiring kit and stuff, this guy here, the 120 watt wiring kit, which I would probably even upgrade the transformer to one like these, but you can just select this kit and we'll pretty much automatically do that for you. But this will easily handle 20 lights without any issues of voltage drop or anything like that. So you can add that to your cart, and then from there just start adding lights, and you can see how that starts to tally up and works within your budget. The other thing you could do too is, it would probably even more bang for your buck if you don't want to use the in-ground lights and you just want to use some up lights. Then I would probably just look at the premium kit, because it's going to have about 8 path lights, which you can use around the pool, and then it's got 12 up lights for you, which I think is more than enough to use around the trees. It's maybe a little bit above the budget you wanted to spend, so you could look at customizing, but I think this would be a really good bang for your buck. It's going to be a better bang for your buck than trying to customize it, but have a look and let me know. And if you need some help and have an idea of exactly how many lights and everything you want, send that list to me, and I can customize something too to make sure we have the right amount of wire and everything. So any other questions, please email me back, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks again for watching, guys, as we show you how to easily install low voltage landscape lighting. So there's various different lights you can look at. The most popular is easily the up light, accent light, or bullet light, often used to highlight different trees and features in your yard. Another very popular light is a wash light, often used to highlight the fronts of homes and beautiful stonework. Path and garden lighting is also very popular, to use to light walkways and garden areas and plant material down below, as well as hardscape lighting, which is used in different kinds of hardscapes as well as on fences and decks, and can also create some cool effects. And a great way to see what looks good is just to take a flashlight or any kind of light around at night, shine it on a few of those features, and really see what looks good and where you're going to position those lights. I strongly recommend looking at LED energy efficient bulbs for all of your landscape lighting. It saves on power and it lasts a long time. You see they only use 40 watts, 260 lumens, is very bright, and they still have that warm white look that you would find in an incandescent fixture. And if you have an existing landscape lighting system that is incandescent, it's very easy to retrofit with LED bulbs, again, just to save power and not have to be changing bulbs all the time. What we often recommend is go and find really good quality outdoor rated LED bulbs, and then go find really good incandescent fixtures, and just marry the two together and retrofit your incandescent fixtures with really good quality LED bulbs, and it'll help bring the cost down rather than going and buying a fully integrated LED fixture, which looks good and lasts a long time, but they do cost a lot more than doing this and just finding a really good fixture and retrofitting it with a really good bulb. So once you know where you're going to put your lights and you have your lights picked out, the next step is to start placing your lights. So we've determined where they're going to go. Start by digging just a small hole and just preliminarily placing your lights. I recommend using a rubber mallet so that you can really pound those ground stakes in and give them some good stability. Screw your light in afterwards so you can really get it in there. Make sure everything's level, and then from there you start laying out your wire once you got all your lights in place, and be sure to leave extra wire at every fixture just to give yourself some wiggle room. Connecting the lights is quite simple. When you make your splice in your wire, you'll have a wire going in and a wire going out for each connection, as well as your fixture wire, and at every light you're going to have 2 of those connections. I recommend a good waterproof connection, either a gel-filled snap lock connector or these gel-filled DBRY connectors that come in 2 parts, that you have a moret that screws on and keeps the wires tight, and then the wire fills into a gel-filled tube that keeps the water out. So just be sure to make sure you're getting good waterproof connections that keep the wires free of the elements as well as keep them from pulling apart. The next step is selecting your transformer. It's very easy to do. If you look on any bulb that you purchase, it should give you the wattage, but if you have a 4.5 watt bulb and you have 10 of those, that's going to give you 45 watts, which means you want to select a transformer that's just slightly bigger than that. And I recommend trying to find a transformer that has a photocell as well as a timer built into it for easy use. Very easy to wire in your transformer. Depending on the transformer you have, it's generally going to have a common tap and a 12-volt tap. You just put one wire into each tap, screw them down tight, mount your transformer close to your GFCI receptacle so that you can get power, plug it in, turn it on, and go and make sure all your lights work before you start burying any wire. So once you've checked all your lights and everything works, you can start burying them. One thing I would recommend is looking at the Weon outdoor Wi-Fi switch. Is a great tool if you want to make your landscape lighting system totally smart and Wi-Fi operated. To bury the wires, very easy with a flat-ended shovel, creating a trench that's 6 to 8 inches deep, spreading the turf open and pushing that wire down and stomping it down within no time at all. It looks like you haven't even been there. And in the mulch, it's just a matter of pulling it back and creating a path to lay down that wire, stapling it down and burying everything over that. So hopefully that helped. And if you have any questions, by all means, you can always reach out to us and follow us on Facebook.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching that video. I hope you guys got some great ideas for your own do-it-yourself landscape lighting projects. If you want your own free consultation video, like I said before, email me your pictures at cal@lightingdoctor.ca or go and visit us at lightingdoctor.ca, and be sure to check out our Try It Before You Buy It light, again, where you get one premium grade fixture and a King Innovation Instalight battery operated demo kit that you can go and test those lights out on your property before you make any big purchases. So I hope to see you guys again soon, and again, go get your free consultations by emailing your pictures or visit us at lightingdoctor.ca. Thanks so much for watching.